Evening to all of you and warm welcome. In today's session of Leadership Lecture Series, we have Varun Gupta, 2010 IITM alumnus and founder of FinoZen. Shri Varun Gupta is an IIT Madras 2010 graduate. He started his first company to unearth sports talent in India, however with limited success. His next company was in big data analytics, which he exited in June 2015 at $1 million valuation. His next step is FinoZen, which is venture funded and is aiming to provide Indians with a superior money saving platform. Join him to hear his journey of ups and downs with multiple startups, exiting his venture, raising funds in general, and entrepreneurial lives after IITM. So I would like to invite Shri Varun Gupta to share his experience with us.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Mr. Suresh. Please, people than me have shared this stage, so I'm really humble. Thank you for the opportunity. I remember it was 2009 when I stood for sports secretary in IIT Madras, and this room was jam-packed then. So it's unfortunate to see right now that there are not a lot of people. But anyway, so I will keep it short. I have been given 45 minutes to talk. But I'll take only 20 minutes, and then we'll start any Q&A if you guys have. Please feel free to ask any questions you have. Please be as candid as possible. Yeah. So just to tell you a quick background about myself, I was, so in IIT Madras, when I entered IIT Madras in 2005, my only single focus from that point of time onwards was in sports. And from the first year onwards, the only thing which I could actually, which I was continuing to do was, being involved in multiple sports activities. So naturally, that was my passion, and that is what I wanted to pursue after that. In fact, let me tell you a small story before that. So when I have been a very active sports person before college itself, and my family is all made of sportsmen. My dad represented India in national in swimming competition in Asiad, and so naturally I have to take up swimming as a sports career. And I come from Ujjain, a small city where there is nothing much to do. So we, I ended up just doing swimming, and like most of you, in 11th and 12th just studying. So so I had a in 11th class I had an offer from railways to join and just keep swimming throughout my life. But there was the conscious call. Most of you would have seen this movie Dhoni, right? You have seen it, right? Guys, please let's make it a little interactive. You have seen this movie? Yeah, so like Dhoni had the guts to take a call. I was, of course, not as talented as him. And, so that's why I took a call about studying rather than going into sports. And that was the first time I had to give up something. And that stuck with me after I entered IIT as well. So now continuing during IIT, the only thing which I thought now the dream is achieved. Let's just focus on what I really like the best. I just continued swimming. That's all I did. First year, second year, third year, got selected sports secretary. Water polo is what I picked up after coming to IIT. And in fourth year, starting, I thought of, this thought of the multiple people like me who have actually left sports as a career and taken up something else. It was continuously bothering me. So when I partnered with a senior of IIT Madras 2005, who has graduated in 2005, and we started a company called India Khelo. This was my first tries with entrepreneurship. That's why the first word sports. And the idea was to unearth sports talent in India. The idea was very the dream was very audacious. The ambitions were very big, but we didn't know the execution plan. We didn't know exactly how we'll go about executing it. Luckily, because of the name of IIT and because of the uniqueness of the idea, we were able to raise $100,000 right away, just at the ideation level itself from a VC. While I was still in college and my partner was out of college, just at this level we were able to raise these funds from a VC based out of Dubai. So we, because of this money, we had some, flexibility to play around. We knew we wanted to try out a couple of things and we wanted to make it big. So we hired a developer team. While I was in my fourth year, we had a developer team based out of Bangalore. I used to spend 3 days in college and 4 days in Bangalore. I made my credits, in such a way so that I have some free days. And that's how, and we started off a portal, you know, to capture what every sportsman is doing at a grassroots level. We started off with 100 people in Bangalore, 100 people in Chennai. We'll make their profile, we'll make them popular and something on those lines. And we'll continuously monitor their fitness and how it is going. As you can see, I'm not very clear about, you know, what we were trying to do, as we were as confused at that point of time itself. You know, we just tried a lot of things. We did, you know, fitness programs. We did fitness program. We did multiple things. We tried to figure out where the revenue will be, and very quickly we burned through the $100,000, out of which 80% we burned through like in 1.5 years itself. And we realized that we have not done anything much. We were way too inexperienced, way too young to actually do something about it. And we gave the money back, of course, with a lot of hassle. But that happened over a period of 1.5 years. So this was the placement time. Just quick raise of hands. How many of you are in final year and sitting for placement this time? Okay. How many of you are in first year? Oh, quite a few from first year actually. Then second year? And third year? Okay. So final year placement guys are the last one. Okay. So anyways, this was the period when you know, we decided that we'll close the startup because nothing was functioning. Of course, I was very disappointed, and I thought of appearing for placements. So in placements, I don't know the scene at that point at this point in time, but at that point in time, the top companies were McKinsey and BCG. So I said only for those two, and I thought if I don't get this through, I'll figure out something else. And unfortunately, I didn't get through both of them. So McKinsey dinged me in the second round, and BCG dinged me in the fourth round. And so I was again clueless that what should I go about doing. And so I thought I will just take a break for some time. So I took a couple of months break, went to my hometown, roamed around, you know, with my parents because of one startup being a failure and the second not getting a job in the companies which I wanted to. And then I, you know, then I took up a job eventually in a company called Inductis in Gurgaon. It's a boutique management consulting firm specializing in analytics consulting. I had no idea about analytics. I had no idea about consulting. So I thought we'll just go about, you know, figuring out what this company does, learn more about, you know, what's going on, and, you know, just try to build up from there. So how many of you guys have heard about Inductis? EXL services? Okay, EXL services was previously Inductis. Then it was bought over by EXL. Inductis was a small section of, you know, small bunch of 40 IITM people running a very boutique management consulting firm, analytics consulting firm for American Express. So this was my first stress with the corporate side of life, that how does it work? And, you know, till now I was only focusing on my passion with limited capability. And now I started thinking about trying to learn something and seeing how actually the market works and how we can actually start doing something where we can create something of value which can be sold off. So in Inductis, I spent exactly 1 year and 3 months, worked really my ass off. You know, we used to work 16 hours a day to understand, you know, how consulting works, what is analytics, you know, how the data sets and everything. Computer science students, how many of you guys are here? Yeah, so you understand what I'm talking about. So how the data set structuring is and all that. I am from a biotech background, by the way. Gave up on biotech after second year. So, so that is how it started off, and started learning on the job. And right after 1 year and 3 months, I quit that job in a hope of starting a analytics consulting firm in India. So the opportunity which I realized was that there are a lot of analytics consulting firms. This is back in 2011 when this startup boom has still not happened, right? Means the startup was not a glamorous thing. Entrepreneurship was not a glamorous thing. It was just some people were doing some random things which were outcast, which were considered as outcast by the society. So this was my second try. I quit the job, thought about doing it, partnered with another IITM senior, a couple of years senior to me. He had a marketing job in a company. He also quit his job, and we started doing marketing analytics. We thought we'll apply his marketing knowledge, my analytics knowledge, and we'll pull together and we'll try to do something in India, because the opportunity we realized was all these analytics companies which are existing in India were providing services to US-based companies. And this, there were no companies in India who were providing quality analytics services in India to Indian clients, like big Indian clients. So we thought, when I say big Indian clients, I'm talking about MNCs. By the way, guys, feel free to stop me at any point of time and ask questions. And let me know if I'm going too fast. So we thought we'll do that. And so we, we quit our jobs. We built our, for a month or so, we did our planning. And we went and pitched Coca-Cola India first. Right? We went and said, this is your marketing. You have this huge amount of data sets which are in terabytes. You don't know what to do about it. And all you do is just, do TV ads. And you really don't have understanding about what consumers in India want. So let us come help you. These are our skill sets. And we will be able to give you something which will be of use to you. Of course, they laughed us out of the room. They didn't understand anything, but there was one single guy in the room who actually thought that this might be a good idea. Let us give it a shot. Okay, so he called us back, gave us a very small project for 5 lakh rupees. He said, work for 3 months, deliver me this, and then we will see about how it goes. So of course, both of us again worked our ass off because we didn't have anything else to do. And we really did a great job with the project. We went more than what he would have expected. The job was a simple job. The project was very vague in terms of Mountain Dew making huge strides in Uttar Pradesh, and how will you actually go about curtailing Mountain Dew in UP? What do you do about it? So we did a 3 months project for a small amount of money. A couple of guys, my senior from IITM, myself. And we really delivered a great project on which they went on spending close to $2 to $3 million in UP itself. And that one single project was the foundation of our entire company. That 3 months of hard work which we put in was the entire foundation of what that company went on. After that, the project just kept lining up. We were always short of manpower. The problem was not in terms of getting the projects, but the problem was in delivering them, because the demand from different sections was so high that we just could not fulfill. So marketing approached us, operations approached us, commercial team approached us, Mazda team approached us. All of them just started wanting to do data analytics. So a little bit we were lucky because we found our niche in a company which didn't have these capabilities. And second, at the same time, we were just trying to work hard and trying to figure out what we can, where we can fit in. So we just put our head down and we started just delivering on those projects, day by day. Every day was a working day. I don't think we took any breaks for 2.5 years or so. And I think after 2.5 years, when we woke up and realized we were a 25-member team and close to $500,000 in revenue in a year. In 2.5 years, but $500,000 revenue per year. So this was where it went. So this was a great, learning experience for me about how does corporate function, what kind of work they do, what kind of projects do they like, how do you actually do a B2B sales pitch, how do you go about building a company, B2B company in India, B2B services company in India, data and data analytics, which is very different from whatever I have done before, whether in India Kelo or in the previous short duration in the job which I did. So from that, after I woke up after 2.5 years, I again went back to thinking, went back to the whiteboard to think about for myself if I'm doing the right thing. And suddenly I started comparing what I was doing before to what I'm doing now. So in India Khelo, the objective, as I was telling you guys about, was to unearth sports talent in India, to create a system like in US where there is NCAA and all those where people from ground, from grassroots can actually emerge at the top, and there is a proper system. In India, apart from cricket, there is no system like that. That was our objective, right? Sounds audacious, sound ambitious. In Decision Point, the second company which I started, our objective or our overall objective in life was only to get the next project, only to grow our revenue, only to grow our bottom line, right? And somehow that started looking very flimsy to me, after building that company. And I just could not, get myself, get myself up and go to the office again. And so I thought I'll take a sabbatical after, building that company, after passing on my responsibilities. So after spending another 5 months, after spending another 6 months, exactly after 3 years, I took a sabbatical. I thought I will go back to my hometown. I will work on, try to figure out what do people in, I come from Ujjain, by the way, as I told you guys, small city, kind of tier 2 town. I thought I will figure out what do people in tier 2 cities need, and we'll try to, try to build something on those lines. So I took a break. I took a sabbatical in Jan 2015, to be precise. That's my last day, 31st Jan, exactly after 3 years in Decision Point. Where that company is really stable and being handled by my partner right now. And so I was still in Gurgaon. This company was in Gurgaon. I was still in Gurgaon, where I got approached by Delivery. You guys know about Delivery? Delivery, it's a logistic firm based out of Gurgaon, very fast growing, was fast growing at one point in time. Now it is grown. So it's so they approached me, asked me to set up their analytics team, and so the good thing about Delivery was both Decision Point and Delivery was started by at the same time. The founders of Delivery were senior of mine from different colleges, but I knew them from before. And in this 3 years period, while our valuation grew from from zero to $3-4 million, their valuation actually crossed 500 million, 50 million at that point in time. So it was really psyching for me that what has happened. They are also services company, though the industries are different. But what did they actually do? What did they know that we didn't know? And some kind of you understand, like there is always an ego issue when it comes to how did this guy do it and I could not do it. And sorry guys, I'm being very candid, so please don't quote me anywhere on this. But please feel free to ask any questions you have after this. So so that was the idea. So I took up that small responsibility at Delivery. Just to understand what they actually did, and of course it has to be coupled with a role which I need to do. So I took up like a 3 months period where I would also chill out and do some work, whatever with them. Corporate jobs are anyways very easy. So it was like that. I was just doing some time pass work, getting salary and figuring out what that company does. And during that time is when another friend of mine, actually pretty senior to me and kind of and a mentor to me, Salesh Mehta, who is my current partner in FinoZen, he approached me that we should go about, and he approached me with a big concept that this is what I really think might actually work in India. Little bit background about Salesh. He is a 92 IIT Bombay and 94 IIM Ahmedabad, and he has been working in finance and technology from last 20 odd years. So extremely experienced compared to me, extremely more immense amount of maturity, and really a mentor in all the senses. So he approached me and told me that let's see, this is one opportunity which is waiting for getting disrupted. The opportunity which he told me about was people like me, people like you guys, right? A retail population, like not the HNIs. HNIs are high net worth individuals, people who have more than 50 lakh rupees in net worth. Less than 50 lakh rupees of people don't know where they should keep their money, where they should invest their money, and they're getting scammed by a huge set of population which are selling them insurance, fixed deposits and whatnot. So there is this problem which exists. Think about it, if we can create an online investment portal which can solve this kind of a problem. And as I said, I was in Delivery. I had like 23 hours a day free, 23 hours in a day free for myself. So I started thinking about it, and it's anyways was only a 3 months project, as aligned with them before. And I realized that if I actually wanted to do something for society, if I really wanted to get back to what my dream was, and when I started doing all this, then doing something on these lines will actually add a lot of value, will actually solve a problem for a large section of society who doesn't even know that this problem exists. So with this understanding and with the hope that we can actually make something out of this idea, I moved to I quit in Delivery. I anyways was my on a contract, so I left Delivery in May of 2015 and moved to Bangalore on 1st June 2015. So Salesh along with me, and we hired a CEO. So my finance knowledge was close to zero. Like, any of you guys have taken finance in college, in your minor, right? What grade did you get? You're doing. What grade do you hope to get? B. I got an E. So so this was my finance knowledge. Like I didn't get it ever, and I had zero clue about it. And so the way we thought we will structure the team was that I was good at execution, so I will execute. When I say execution, that it will be about operations of customer support, mutual fund, tying up with mutual funds, setting up a call center, setting up KYC processes, whatever regulations and everything it holds. This is what I will end up doing. Salesh will take care of the technical side of things because he was really good at it, and we hired a CEO, Mr. Not to name him because he is not associated with us anymore. Let's call him Mr. X, and he joined us. He was a big shot at Goldman Sachs. He was the country head of Singapore. He left his job. He really liked the idea, and he came in and he joined us. And so we just thought we had the perfect team, right? We had the perfect team to execute with my execution background, Salesh's technical background, Mr. X's high-profile background. We thought that we'll go about and we will be able to disrupt the market. We'll be able to raise funds. We'll be able to figure out exactly what needs to be done, and we'll be able to disrupt the market. But as usual, in any consumer service business in India, it is always easier said than done. And we struggled from the very, very first day, especially because there was a mismatch in the team. The mismatch in the team was because there were different expectations from my end, different expectations from Salesh's, different expectations from Mr. X. And we just went about, all three in our random directions. I thought I will do this. I started setting up call center, I started setting up support. We didn't align the technical team. The vision was not set clearly, and we were just haywire. And we just went into the fundraising mode because we just thought that the credentials of Mr. X will help. And we were offered a decent valuation as well at that point in time without any idea, which is the worst thing any startup can actually ever do. If you ever raise funds before you have figured out what you want to do, you will not get ever any far. This we figured out with India Kilo, and this, because I have figured it out in India Kilo, we didn't go ahead with this in this startup. We didn't name the startup till then, we didn't know. And this was all the learning from the previous, whatever time I have, whatever I have spent time doing this B2B and the previous B2C startup which was helping at this point of time to take some key decisions. So then a VC actually approached us, a big shot VC based out of Mumbai. He said he will take 55% in the company. He will put in 10 CR. He will get in another CEO who is the current CEO of a big finance company. We had a meeting with them because of our background, because of our our capabilities and whatever we have done in a couple of months. They were very interested in putting in money and getting a team and getting started to run. But somehow we were very uncomfortable because it was not gelling and fitting well with what we really wanted to do, right? Like somewhere when you are getting too many intellectuals in a room and people with too many different agendas, you will definitely spoil the broth and people will just end up doing whatever they want. So things didn't move. We didn't say yes to the VC, though it was a very good deal at that point of time without having anything. But we decided we will go against it. And we will think about, first of all, what we wanted to do. This was between June to September time. June to September, 4 months gone in this time frame, right? A couple of months I was actually just relaxing in Bangalore playing squash with Nikunj here. But that's where the time actually went by. And in October time is when Mr. X came and said that, guys, I'm again getting a 2 CR package from some investment banking firm. Either we start up soon, we raise this fund, we dilute 60% of the equity, otherwise I am leaving. So we told him goodbye. We told him we'll figure out. It's okay. We were anyways very pained with him, because kind of we realized that a person who has spent his entire life in a corporate structure, following only a structured process, cannot kind of exist in chaos and cannot think from the basic grassroots at what you actually need to build to solve a big problem. That was the big learning from that episode. Otherwise we'll just create another clone of a company. So the idea which was coming was create another online investment platform like ICICI Direct or anything. Don't think about the problem of the user, create, and we will just give it to the user like a policy bazaar, which is actually very easy to create, right? All policy bazaar does is call people. It's just customer support. Sorry, I know you guys are not fintech. How many of you guys are actually interested in fintech? Oh, I'm glad the house is a little full now. But no one is interested in fintech? E-commerce? Okay, how many of you guys actually want to pursue entrepreneurship after college? What kind of fields do you guys want to go into? Not sure yet. Okay, so you still want to figure out. We'll talk about this after the talk. Please be candid and ask me more questions about it on what was. So this is just my decisions. How I'm just sharing the story of how I went about taking my decisions. You can throw questions and we'll just discuss it together on what do you guys think. So anyways, I was here. So Mr. X left, and we were still unsure on what do we go about it. And Salish's was core capability was in technology, which is a big gain. And my core capability was, to be very honest, in nothing. Was in about doing analytics, doing client meetings, doing sales, handling team, which at that point of time was not any at all relevant to what we wanted to do. So because we had no CEO, we decided that, so that's how I actually ended up becoming the CEO of FinoZen. I was forced into this role because we had no other option. So we thought, okay, we'll just do it. And September end is when I actually started learning about mutual funds. That how does this go? So don't get me wrong, like I have been investing right out of college. So I had a practical knowledge of how do we go about investing, what kind of funds do we select and all that. But I just didn't know that if you have to go about creating a consumer services startup around it, how do you bring this all things together, like your knowledge of finance, your execution, your regulatory aspects, your payment gateway, your bank, your different asset management companies which are there, the consumer's money. Where do you put all these things together? How did the entire structure pan out? How will the entire structure look? So that is what I started and I thought about creating. And September, I took 1 month, 1.5 months, and I gave my exam for mutual fund, certification in November first week, and I cleared it luckily with 92%. This was the highest I ever got in IIT, like in the last 10 years. So that's how we end up getting the certificate for doing mutual fund distribution. And so that was the first starting step, right? Once we got our certificate, we knew that we have to go in this line. And after that, just a series of 16 hours days started, where we started learning about mutual fund industry from different mutual fund distributors, from different stakeholders like CEOs of Reliance Mutual Fund, Axis Mutual Fund. We started knowing about what is consumer behavior, what are you offering, why does mutual fund have low penetration, what do Indian people want, why are people not able to sell. Just a quick question, does any of you have invested in mutual fund before? One or two of you. You know how many people in US have invested in mutual fund before during their college days? 80% of them. Right, and it's not just the India, and this is exactly the ratio which we'll find outside of this room as well. Less than 3% of people have ever invested, and the biggest problem about that is there is lack of awareness. Right, people don't know outside of fixed deposits. People don't know outside of what people the other trusted community people will come and tell. This is how you should do, where they are not saying the right thing because their knowledge is also limited. So that is where our time started, and in 2.5 months, we kind of knew more or less how there are around 10 to 12 companies which are trying to do things online, and we knew exactly what those problems they were solving and exactly what was happening. And that is when we started trying to learn about what a consumer needs, right? And when I was with Rachna that day, and we were just talking about what does a user just need, right? A consumer people just want to do with their money. And we realized that most people in India do not go out and invest because they are very scared that their money will decline, right? That if they invest, there is a certain kind of a market risk. And so people in India do not want to invest, they want to save their money and they want to grow their money. And this kind of resonated with what my mom used to tell me as soon as I started earning my first salary. कि बेटा फिक्स डिपॉजिट में डाल दो, ठीक है? As soon as you get a salary, put it in fixed deposit. Don't do anything with it. Put 50-60% in fixed deposit. That's how it used to go. I'm sure that's what will happen with you guys as well. So that's started happening. That started realizing that we have to create basically a savings platform. We don't have to create an investment platform. And that's how the idea of FinoZen was originated in late January, exactly on 25th January. And we started building the product from then. What we wanted to do was keep the user, keep it very simple for the user to start investing, keep it minimum for a user for them actually saving, to start saving, keep it minimum for a user with rupees 100 or rupees 500 where they can just come, do a small transaction like you do an e-commerce transaction through a net banking or a debit card, and actually make them realize that their money is growing and make them trust us, if not in 1 day, if not in 10 days, if not in 1 month, then in a year. And that is the journey which we set out to do on 25th of January. It took us 3 months to basically get around to all the technical complexities because it is actually extremely complex. We figured out how the regulations and everything will work, and just to cut the long story short, it took us 3 months, again 18 hours of working day to actually launch our product. And then it took us another 2 months to make our product perfect. And so we started off with a set of 1 or 2 users, 1 user, 2 users, 3 users who were just signing up. And I think as of today, this morning, we have close to 9,500 users who are actively using our platform and who have invested close to who have saved close to 3.5 CR using our platform. So the journey from here is only to keep on making people realize that this is a good thing for them. We will get down into the more financial complexities if someone wants to know why is it so, and just make it more popular and make more Indians aware of what they're missing out if they're either keeping their money in savings banks or in fixed deposit. And especially never keep your money in ULIP, which your parents would definitely have, because someone would have said, never keep your money. If you have kept your money over there, just take it out and keep it in FinoZen or a better mutual fund platform where you want to. So this is where we started. All I wanted to leave you guys was whatever I did in the last 6 years right out of college was, I was very clear from the starting that I wanted to, learn and understand, how does world operate, how does company operate, how do you go about setting a company, and then learn and implement my learnings in creating something which will take a mass shape at one point of time, can reach millions of Indians. And with my minuscule learnings, very small learnings, like the one I told you about how we let go of Mr. X, we took multiple decisions. We took, every small factor mattered, and keeping all those factors in mind is somehow we created FinoZen. I'm sure that going forward also we'll have to keep taking this decision. We will keep learning, and that's at one point of time we aim to create FinoZen as a company which reaches millions of Indians, because we continue to believe that this is the best solution for them to save their money apart from what they are doing with banks right now. So that's my story, guys. Sorry, any questions you want?
Thank you very much, sir. So now the podium is open for Q&A session.
So I have taken 20 minutes. Please, I have been try to be candid as much as I can, and sharing my thoughts, my journey. I'm sure if you guys start, all the guys who raised hands who want to actually pursue entrepreneurship, your journey will definitely be different than mine. It cannot be the same. You will do your own mistakes, you will learn from them, and you will go and implement them in your next ventures. But please feel free to ask any questions pertaining to whatever you have, whatever I shared, whatever questions you have in terms of the decisions I took, why I took them, and how do we went about it. You can just shout, I can hear it. By the way, just one thing. So in the end, I will just, I'm a graduate of 2010, and I'm very close friends with my Wingies. And we, today morning, I just sent out a message to them that I'm going to Insti, and what would you like to convey to yourself if you have, at this point of time, you were in college, to what you have learned in the last 6 years. So all of them have sent out some things, and I would like to read out to you in the end, if time permits. Yeah.
Okay,
please,
I'm Vishal.
You could ask. Please tell your year, branch.
Actually, I'm pursuing my MBA here. So
Okay.
I also did my BTech in 2010.
From Insti?
Not from here, from IIT Lucknow.
Okay.
Actually, sir, I'm also wanting to pursue entrepreneurship in the field of sports. So
Okay.
I was pretty excited when I heard somebody who was here who had tried unearthing the talent in sports.
Yeah.
India. So I just wanted to know what were the metrics with which you went ahead and what were the challenges. Can you just elaborate on that?
Yeah, we'll do that. See, actually, to be very honest, all India Kilo did for us was get PR. To be very honest, it was our mistake. We were pursuing something which was really good. There was a big audacious dream, but we could not fulfill it because we weren't clear on what we wanted to do. We were not that, learned at that point of time compared to now. So what we were actually doing was, we thought that a way to solve this problem will be something like sports analytics. To actually just tell you briefly. So what we'll do is we'll go to particular institution. We'll say that give us the top 100 sports people over here. See where the challenges lies. See, let's compare US versus India. Okay, the challenge in India is there is are you an active sportsman person? Have you participated in sports activities before?
Yes.
So you know that there is a city level competition, there is a district level competition, then there is a state, then there is a national, and from national people are selected and sent to higher Commonwealth or Asia or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this program is good for individual sports, but for team sports this is really bad. And even in individual sports it's actually not that good, because I used to do an individual sports swimming, but I realized that it is actually not that good. So what we did was we will create a profile of, we'll go to every institute, create a profile of top 100 people over there in a particular sports like a basketball or a volleyball or a tennis, and that person will maintain that profile, and there will be a maker checker system which will set up. That he will update his profile and someone will come and validate, right, who has actually seen. So he will upload his scores and people will come and validate. Of course it sounds crazy, it was actually crazy, we did nothing of that. And something like, so that is what we started off with. We spent like out of 100,000, I think we spent close to $40,000 over there. And at the end we just had a Facebook-like system where everyone just had their profiles and was uploading some random data which we didn't know what to do with. So then we thought we'll do something called a fitness air. Then we launched our next product. So what we did was we, came out with, we thought we'll do a sports report card for kids in school, right? And we will do, where a kid can actually, we'll measure him across 6 parameters. We'll do 6 tests and we will rate them on the basis of that. And depending on this, we'll create a system where any association can come and say, okay, these are the 10 fittest guys in this section in Chennai. These are 10 fittest guys in this section in Bangalore. And that was actually a good product. The idea was good. We went out and did a lot of marketing. I used to ride my bike 125 kilometers a day straight for 3 months. But it was very, very hard to sell in schools because school won't accept it. They won't pay for it. The only people who will pay for it are parents. And you cannot approach parents of so many kids at one point of time. So somehow we just got juggled in our own, lack of knowledge about the system, lack of knowledge about how to go about sales, and lack of knowledge about how to go create a valuable structure for the entire stakeholders. Now, if you ask me about sports, there are multiple startups who are actually doing, pursuing some of the other different side, and they are doing okay. Sports as an industry is still not evolved in India. They are not doing great. A company like Sports Village, Somil Mazumdar, who started a Sports Village 94 IIT Bombay, is still struggling. He changed his business model to something called EDU Sports. Right? Sports Village was doing corporate sports program, which didn't succeed. So they started doing EDU Sports, where they will do exactly what we are doing for, exactly what we did at Fitness Air, they will do for kids in school, which actually kind of worked because they were doing it for tier 2 and tier 3 cities. But just to cut it, so that's basically what I answered your question. And to actually tell you very brutally, honestly, sports as an industry is very difficult in India because it's not structured unless you get it right that this is some particular thing, unless you have, you want to do, I'm not really sure that what kind of a model will actually work in sports in India. There are some companies who are doing sports analytics but are struggling. There are some companies I know who try to do, team selection for IPL matches who are also struggling. So if you want to do a massive, see, in my head, entrepreneurship is about trying to touch millions of lives. So trying to touch millions of lives through a company in sports is very difficult right now at this stage, is what I continue to believe. I'm sorry, I'm not discouraging you, by the way. You should definitely go try what you want to do.
I figured out that your method and my method are different.
Yeah.
So, because you actually tried to cater to the infrastructure which was already there.
Yeah.
in my method, it's like the infrastructure might not be there, but still we could predict something. So
see, you have to see at the end of the day, you have to. It just boils down to this one question: that who will pay you? If they are ready to pay you, you are in good shape. So we approached along with colleges. When we saw it's not working in schools, we started approaching all of this, this coaching camps, like coaching academies. They bought our product. They were ready to pay for it as well. But over a period of time, they just lost value in it. They didn't see any value in it, so they gave it off. So if you can figure out people who will pay for it over a sustained period of time, you should be able to go about creating a product. But truly think about something which can touch millions of people, not another hyperlocal, not another food delivery, which can, just do delivery for 100,000 people in Bangalore or something. So does that answer your question? Thanks.
Hello, I'm Kalyani from International Relations.
Hi, ma'am.
So how you will cope with this market crisis?
Which market crisis, sorry?
Like in 2009 or...
Yeah. So, ma'am, in mutual funds, basically what happens is, this is exactly the problem which we are trying to solve. See, most of us tend to think about that when the market goes down, everything goes down, from an investment point of view. But that does not happen. For example, in fixed deposit, guys, 1 minute. So in fixed deposit, when you put your money, even when there was a crisis, you were getting 5 to 6% of returns, right? The bank lowered their FDs, but there was, you were getting certain set of returns. So this mutual funds where the money goes, I'll call liquid and ultra short-term debt funds, which are an exact replica of how the FD works, right? In FD, what happens is bank takes your money. What does bank do with your money? Bank takes your money and they give out personal loans or loans to other companies, right? That's how they make money. They make money on the spread between what the interest rate that they get from loans and the interest rate that they are paying you. They will give out loans on 12% and they will only give you like 4% to 7%, right? This mutual funds give out loans to big AAA rated companies, right? And who big AAA rated government companies like SDFC or rural electrification. Now these companies do not default. Like in 15 years, they have not defaulted. Last 15, 20 years after this liquid fund and ultra short-term debt fund have been launched, they do not default. They have not given a single day of negative return in last 15 years. So so just to tell you, during the downfall, during the subprime crisis of 2008-2009 time period, these liquid funds were still giving 1%, 2% higher than what FD was giving. At the same time, your money was completely liquid. So you can put your money, you can withdraw your money at any point in time. So just to tell you guys why we actually did this was that no person ever who is coming to you physically will come and tell you to invest your money in this product. The reason why they will not do it is because you get lowest commission in the mutual fund industry on this. We get commission up to 0.05% to 0.25% per annum. So if you put your 1 lakh rupee and keep with us for a year, we get between 50 rupees to 250 rupees per year, okay? But if they get you invested in an equity mutual fund, right, where there is market risk, where your money can decline, right, no one knows what will happen, they get your 1 lakh rupee invested over there, they get 1,000 rupees upfront, which they cannot, which cannot go away. So the difference is, this kind of funds which you are actually going and taking out in the market, almost 99% of the people are unaware of, because it has never been sold. Only people who ever invest in this kind of funds are big corporates, because they know about it, and HNIs, people who have more than 50 lakhs, because they are smart. And people like you and us get fooled by these people who are coming and trying to sell us something on a physical note. So that is the discrepancy which we are trying to remove, and we are trying to go out to people directly and saying that this is a safe product for you. Start with a small amount of money, see it over 1 year, 3 years, whatever makes you comfortable, and slowly start putting in more money as you went and feel comfortable. Does that answer your question, ma'am?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hi Varun,
Hi.
quite an interesting story. So I just wanted to ask, because many people are interested in e-commerce market here. So running a product, a company like FinoZen, you must be currently breathing in whole day, only the company, how to do it better about it. But can you talk also about other ideas which came through you and you just disregarded it, that I'll not go about it? How you chose on this thing?
Interesting question. See, basically, my philosophy on this was that if you have to go about creating a company, right, it's very easy to create another hyperlocal. You guys are aware of kind of how what is happening in the startup market, like how hyperlocal is getting, rogered over, and how furniture rental and other things are, just becoming a fade. And these are all just doing, some people were doing in a shop, now people are doing it online. It's like those kind of startups. Right, so when, sorry, I'm being cynical, but that's what I used to think. Unless you can touch millions of life, you should not start a company. Was my always the belief which I thought of. That's why I quit Decision Point. That's why I started FinoZen. So to touch on Abhinav's point, see, when my philosophy was, when you go about creating a company, you have to always create a company for future. You cannot create a company seeing what is going on right now. Immediately, and this is how it should happen. Like, some people are renting furniture right now, we should rent furniture online. Some people are buying food from the shops, we should give it online. We should think about how the world will look, how you want the world to look 5 years down the line. What is that one problem you see which, which exists literally, and which you can eradicate from whatever you want to do 5 years down the line. Whatever you are doing right now, and you can try to eradicate that 5 years down the line. So that was my benchmark, to be very honest, about most and everything. So e-commerce, I don't know. I think the kind of there is definitely a potential for another e-commerce startup touching some, a vertical e-commerce startup, not a horizontal one. But I was not interested in it because I thought that it's already too crowded and world is anyways already there. So 5 years down the line, where it would be the problem which I could close up on, that that problem is that people are not saving their money smartly, and they should save their money smartly, because hopefully world is getting smarter day by day, right? And that is when they will realize. So that is where I chose on the idea of FinoZen. Yeah, that's wherever, regarding all the ideas. Just to tell you, sorry, just because of the same question, I'll just touch base on one more point. See, I've seen that there are a lot of guys. Just to give you a brief summary of my journey, my first startup was all about passion and zero knowledge, right? I was passionate about sports. I had zero knowledge of doing things, and I just went on and said, let's do it, guys. Let's do it, and we'll do all our energy. We just went. We got incubated in RTBI, by the way. We used to have an office space when RTBI was here in ESB. We got a couple of interns from IIT Madras. We had a whole developer team in Bangalore. We spent a lot of money, and we had zero knowledge, and we were just trying to do any and everything to, to get to our dream with with zero objective, zero vision. So we understood that just passion does not drive you. And this startup is and I realized at that point of time, and I am just very passionate about sports. I am not passionate about finance, but I am passionate about trying to change people's life. And that is where I realized that it can be a good mixture, FinoZen, that trying to change people's life and trying to come up with a good product which can touch millions of people. And so that's when we actually kind of started with passion and all the knowledge which we have garnered in the last 5 years for myself and last 15 odd years for Salesh. So just to touch you, there are two kinds of entrepreneurs, I think. People who really believe that this is something which they are passionate about, like Bhavesh Agrawal. I think he was passionate about the cabs system, and he did go about and create it, and luckily there was an opportunity. And then there are people like me who just try to solve a problem, right? And they try to come up with the best possible solution for that problem. And that's how we define entrepreneurship for ourselves. If that answers the question.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
I'm Saranya, doing my second year MS in electrical.
Okay.
I have two questions to you. One is that as soon as I got my S-mail, I downloaded the FinoZen app and I signed up, but yet to put my money into it.
Okay.
So what do you have to tell to me so that I'll invest in it, and what do I have to tell my parents to convince them?
So put 500 rupees, I'll give you 500 rupees, and you see it for 1 year. That's all I have to say. So I can go about and tell you the whole financial background of it, that why is it important for you. You will see a growth rate of, come check it every day, come check it every week, you will see a growth rate of 8% plus, between 7%, 7.5% to 8%, a little higher than FDs, and try withdrawing your money multiple times. Put that 500 rupees, withdraw it, put that 500 rupees, withdraw it, do 50 times, and then come and trust us. That's all I have to say.
Yes, sir. And what plans you have to market your product so that it reaches a lot of millions of people?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So we have not started marketing yet. All of these downloads which we have got have been through, the word of mouth and through some referral campaign which we have been running. So we are going to do some marketing about it now. The reason why we have been shying away from marketing because we have been in the discussion to raise funds for our startup, which we have just closed. We are raising close to some $300,000, and then we will look about creating some lean marketing strategies. So we will focus big on the referral, the outreach program, the blogger outreach, the referral program which we are doing, because we believe if someone likes FinoZen, he would like to recommend someone, if not now, if not in a month, if not in 3 months, at least in 6 months. Second we'll do is a bit of Google marketing, to get the app downloads, the standard marketing. And to be very honest, we have to start working in that direction, and we will keep on learning that what is working, what is not working, what is creating trust among people, and that is what we'll continue to focus more on, continue to put more money on. That's the answer to your question. Yeah. So marketing is not a challenging job, by the way. It is challenging for marketeers, but you have to, first of all, I believe that you have to create a product which shows the value immediately. Once you have done it, people will download it on its own. So we currently don't do any marketing. Without that also we get downloads. But I hope that once we start doing marketing, we have created something of value. And if people continue to see value in it, people continue to invest in it, our attrition rate is very low. And we continue to believe that we will reach a huge set of people once we do a little bit of burst campaigns.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
I'm Manik. I'm second year ED.
Yeah. Hi.
Me and a group of friends, we have a small team, not a startup, but...
Sorry, what's that?
Me and a group of friends, we have a small team, not a startup.
Okay.
It's based around content generation and writing.
Okay.
So right now we have a small client and he's giving us steady money, and we are in a dilemma as if we should keep that source of money and not refine our vision, or we should...
Very cool, yeah. Your second year you have you generate revenue from somewhere, is it?
Yeah.
Very cool, yeah.
He's a KGP alum that we have.
Very cool, yeah. I hope I could be as smart as you guys, yeah. I didn't get any understanding till 3rd, 4th year. So
yeah.
What do? You write blogs?
We write blogs for him and we do some content generation for his site.
What industry?
Huh?
What industry is it?
It's marketing fund days. Like his name is Peshwa Acharya. He's a KGP alum.
Okay.
65 KGP alum.
Okay.
So we do that for him.
Got it.
So our main problem is, should we refine our vision or should we just keep that client and make more money, and once we have the money and then refine our vision and go about doing it? Because
so you have 3 more years to go, right?
Yep.
So see, basically it's too early to say it. See, I took a lot of time to do my first startup, to be very honest.
Yep.
I think you are great what you're doing. I think you are one of the few who has ever done it, at least from what I know in IITM. I think you should just continue to learn, okay. Right now at this point of time. And rather than me answering this question for you, you should ask yourself. I can give you my opinion. Okay, my opinion about content marketing, it is that you will get paid only for how much time you put in. Yep. Right? Try to create something where the value is getting created even while you are sleeping. Right? So that's the basic, create a function, create a system where it's running while even you are not spending time on it. Like, to give example, Decision Point, I was getting paid for my working hours. FinoZen, as I'm talking right now, people are downloading, right? People are investing money. So that's another different kind of startup. So that's the kind of model I think after my 6 years of learning, that you should try to create something which is which can function without you, and it's not just a time-based thing. Okay, so try to think about how you can productize your offerings. Right, that is one. But to be very, very frank, I think you have a long time to go. Keep on learning on what you want to do. Try multiple things. Play sports, and
Actually, I played water polo for my hostel.
Oh, very cool. Were you on Insta team?
No,
Oh, we are
not
planning
that
to
good.
go do play some water polo. Join us if you want to. So just figure out, tried multiple things, figure out what you see. Basically, the thing is, whatever knowledge and learning you will get from different areas, you will be able to apply it to your startup in some or the other way, right? For example, while discussing my marketing plan with one of the mutual fund companies, we were coming up with a joint business plan, and I have no prior to this, I had no knowledge of working with a mutual fund, and this guy was a chief marketing officer of an AMC, of a mutual fund company, right? So I have never worked with that kind of client before, that kind of guy before, but I have worked with guys doing JBP in retail, in analytics. So I had this knowledge, so I could apply that knowledge to this side. So that's why I just keep broadening on horizons. You will figure out a model for yourself. But anyways, as a summary, try to productize your product, try to productize your offerings, so that it can function.
Side note, which hostel were you in, and if you had an Insta name, what was it?
Ganga Tattu.
You are Ganga. I
Yeah.
am Ganga.
Oh yeah, is it? My nickname was Tattu.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Pradeep. I'm a second year undergrad.
Hi. Which hostel now?
Alakananda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry for you.
Yeah. Yeah, so you told that put 500 and withdraw 500 multiple times, right? Over the really short span.
Yeah.
So how do you offer such kind of liquidity, and how can you afford to offer that?
Yeah, so see, we basically see now, it's a little bit of a financial jargon question, answer, but I will try to simplify it for you. If you want more detailed answer, I will give it to you at the end of this. See, till now the way mutual fund industry has been operating is that there is so for example, there are different kinds of fund, okay? There is an equity fund where it is dependent on market risk. Now in equity fund, the withdrawal time is 3 days, right? But in the kind of fund where we invest, the withdrawal time is only 1 day, okay? Like you will get, if you withdraw before 2 p.m. on a working day or between Monday to Thursday, do you guys have, how many of you guys have FinoZen in your phone? Any one of you has? Like you downloaded it before coming here, or you have downloaded it before? Okay, so the withdrawal schedule is mentioned on the withdraw tab, okay? It's a 1 day withdrawal. Now we are moving to an instant withdrawal where the money will come back to you in 30 minutes. And this is an innovation which is happening for the first time in mutual fund industry. The way we are managing this liquidity is that the way is exactly the way bank manages liquidity. You know how bank manages liquidity? There are, let's say, take an example of Citibank, right? Citibank has 200 branches across India. So people will come and put in money, and they will have, let's say, 20,000 crore of corpus at any point in time. But if they are giving certain returns on top of it, like on fixed deposit, not many people will withdraw immediately, right? So they will, the liquidity can be maintained till, like, say, 50%. Till 10,000 crores, they will maintain liquidity. That is exactly how we maintain liquidity in mutual funds as well. Right now, the funds which we offer has a corpus of, or when I say corpus, the total amount of money which has been put into it is, for one mutual fund is close to 25,000 crore, the second mutual fund is close to 17,000 crore. So it's a huge amount of money for a 5 lakh rupee deposit or 50 lakh rupee deposit or a 100 CR deposit. It doesn't matter. So we can offer that money instantaneously to our users. Now, how we have gone about doing it is something it will take another day. We have to go about convincing the mutual funds that, boss, this is how the market should function. You should go about doing this. You have been operating in a traditional way. If you go this, you will get disrupted with the payment banks and everything coming in. So you should build up this kind of a structure, and only then you can hope to compete and give us the entire rights to distribute your product. So it was a combination of multiple rounds of discussion with some vision and some understanding, which the people who have been in industry and have become lethargic after 25 years, finally we were able to get to their head and get it implemented. That's how we get it done. So we got it done. First, there was a technical capability already. There was a way this financial instrument was already working. On top of it, we put in our efforts and got this done. That's all, to summarize it for you.
Hi, I'm Pranjal.
Hi.
I'm from Mandakini. I'm in my second year. I'm doing metallurgy.
Did your hostel get flooded?
Last year, yes.
Were you on the ground floor?
No, I was in Pampa back then.
Okay, sorry for you again then. Pampa.
Yeah. So I'd like to ask you, we read a lot online, like look for motivation online, and you read things like entrepreneurs are people who jump from a cliff and build the airplane on the way,
Yeah,
but
you
know that doesn't
the LinkedIn
happen.
founder, right? Riff.
Yeah. So you know that doesn't happen, you fall on your face. So that's because I'd like to ask you, you had a lot of passion, you tried to build India Khelo, but that didn't really work out. Then you moved on, worked in the corporate, then you moved on, built a B2B company, and today you're building a B2C company.
Yeah.
So your mission in life to reach out to so many people took you about 6 to 7 years.
Correct.
So do you think that one should actually gain this exposure before trying out something so big, or is it all right to just have all the passion and learn along the way? Does that work?
That's, I think, is one of the brilliant questions I have been ever asked before. So I'll tell you my point of view. Of course, if you ask someone like Sachin Bansal on this, he will have a different point of view, because he got success in his first startup itself after like 3 years of WorkX, and I am finally doing what I wanted to do after 6 years. So my see, for me, what works? See, for different people, this will have different answers, right? Work different things for different people. For me, what worked? First of all, I had some. I always knew that I will not be doing a corporate job, not because not because I thought that corporate jobs are bad or anything. I just thought that it will just stuck me to a 9 to 5 kind of a thing, where I will not be able to, do something which I really wanted to do. So I was very, very clear about that. Now, it took me a lot of learning and unlearning to actually get to finally ideate FinoZen, right? Get this sufficient knowledge, fail multiple times. So this 3 startups which you see, right? You see India Khelo, you see Decision Point, and you see FinoZen. These are just final product which you guys are seeing, right? We have failed, I have failed, my team has failed multiple days and has got up multiple on the next day to actually deliver it. Like there were at least 15 times in FinoZen when we actually thought this product will not work, let's close it down, right? And we went and said, okay, let's go have beer. But we said, okay, no, let's come back again, let's figure out what we want to do, how we talk to, how we convince this set of a person, how we figure out what it needs to be done. So there were multiple ups and downs like that. So to answer your question, just very briefly, for me, it was that I started off with some kind of an audacious dream, which I always wanted to do. My first ambition was always to touch millions of lives in a positive way, which didn't happen with India Khelo. Then I went about getting some money with Decision Point to ensure that I have the financial security to do another something audacious. And so whatever money I have got through Decision Point, I put the entire money into building this. So this FinoZen, which you are seeing, it has taken 1 year of work and 1.5 years now. And my money is invested into it, and now we are raising funds. So this worked for me, right? Making my financial future a little bit secure, then taking that money out and putting in the dream which I wanted to, so that I am comfortable. For some people, it just worked that whatever they did the first time itself, it worked, right? So you basically have to answer this question for yourself. No one can answer it for you. But it's definitely, it's quoted like that. Whatever you have said, right? You jump out of plane and build a parachute on the way down. It's completely true in a way that if you don't have the guts to come back again the next day, the day you fail, then you should not try to pursue something which an entrepreneur does. Because there will be days when you will think that this is over, and then there will be days when you think about, let's close down this office and let's get our money back. But you should be able to hold yourself that day. And the only answer which I have thought over a period of time, which helped me build any company which I did, was perseverance. That's all.
I'd like to ask one more question on a lighter note.
Are we running out of time?
Yeah, that's just one more.
No, means running out of time means what will happen? They need to shut down ICSR?
No.
So we can continue the conversation, right?
Offline you can.
Offline I can do that? Okay, sure.
Can I ask?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. I've read this Chennai 36 article about you and you attending the aquatics meet in Kanpur.
Okay.
What was your parents' reaction to you deciding to play even after having a high fever and struggling in the hospital?
So more than parents' reaction, I will tell you Professor Anand's reaction. He was the director then. And Professor Kamraj's reaction, who was the sports advisor then. My parents didn't know that, of course, I was doing this. So Professor Anand called me up that day. So you know what has happened, right? You guys are aware of what happened? Every one of you know. How many of you don't know what he's talking about? So would you like to just tell them what happened, or shall I tell them?
You can go ahead.
I think you'll be a better orator, but I'll just tell you what happened. So this was one of the most emotional moments for me in my life. Okay, 1 second. One second, guys. See, what happens in a startup is there are multiple ups and downs, right? And one thing which really got me to, come back the next day after having failed one day was the memories of something truly inspirational, truly beautiful, which we achieved, which a team of us achieved at some point of time. And I held this memory the highest in that order. I think you should go ahead.
He was a part of the aquatics team in 2008 or I don't remember the year. Yeah, 2009.
2010.
Represented IIT Madras at IIT Kanpur in the aquatics meet. I think half the team felt sick of food poisoning during the event, and they still went ahead and played and made it to the finals. And yeah, that is how I would summarize it.
So it was, just to quickly tell you, it was like this, that so we felt sick, and we have the team of people who were there then, and I am sure the team right now as well, held water polo very, very closely to our hearts. We didn't want to lose, right? And so, thank you. That there was the time we came out of hospital. We were all admitted in hospital. We were on drips, and 5 of us out of the 7-member team. One person unfortunately could not make it. So 4 of us, the remaining 3, we just got from the extras which were there. We were the unbeatables. The last year we decimated every single team. The Inter-IIT was in IIT Madras in 2008. We used to win by a margin of 10-2, 16-3 and like that. And we were really, really good. And this next year, most senior players passed out, but we have a great team of freshers, great team of hardworking people. And we really wanted to win. And we did, so we played IIT Kanpur in the first match. We have, last year IIT Kanpur could not even, make it to play to us. They got third when the Inter-IIT was in IIT Madras. So this year, the first match was against IIT Kanpur. We were up 4-2, and I still remember every single second of that game and the games after that from that Inter-IIT. But we were up 4-2, and in the last quarter, any one of you have seen a water polo match before? Apart from the water polo team, of course. You have seen, right? So game is more by the players, it is controlled by the referees, right? They can decide to give foul at any point in time. They can decide to, pass the ball at any point in time. So the referees just turned against us, and we were winning 4-2. It was a tough fight match. Kanpur was also a very good team, and we somehow lost the match 5-4. And it was the first pool match, so it didn't matter. But the entire team lost its senses. We gave up on swimming. We said, we whatever medals we won till then, we said we'll just keep these medals and we'll just focus on water polo. So then in the evening, we decimated Kharagpur by some 17-3 or something. And then in the next day, and then we had a burger outside, right out of the swimming pool. And unfortunately, there was some, it was, all of us fell sick. We got food poisoning. None of the Kanpur players got sick, none of the Bombay players got sick, but the entire IIT Madras contingent fell sick, and fell sick like literally we were on drips. We were actually admitted to the hospital 5 members out of the 7 team. So it was this time that Professor Anant called me and told me I was not the sports secretary. This was 1 year after that. This was the final year. That you guys should come back, we'll book tickets for you, and forfeit the water polo event. And we decided against it, and Professor Kamraj also called. He was the sports advisor. But they still left the final decision to us. They said, whatever you guys decide, we'll go ahead with it. So we guys decided that we will play. 4 of us actually were on drips. We went to the swimming pool. We took our drips out and we played. And we won by 7-5. Unfortunately, we could not play in the finals because we were all too gone. We were living at my uncle's place for the night, and in the morning we couldn't even walk. So we were taken on stretchers on to the flight, and we came back directly to IIT Madras. But we won. But our team, the extras team, again fought with IIT Kanpur in the finals, and I think they went down by 7-3 or something. So we could have won that match as well. But so this is one single memory which I always cherish, as on top of my head. Thanks.
Thank you very much, sir. Now I'd like to invite Dean Iyer, Dr. Nagadan sir, to provide me the token of gratitude.